What if the biggest breakthrough in mental health wasn't some new drug, but a totally new way of finding the right treatment for the right person? We're going to explore a future where mental health care stops being one size fits all and instead gets perfectly tailored by technology. So that brings us to the big question, right? Can an algorithm actually look at all the unique, messy details about a person and predict the single best therapy for them? It sounds a little like science fiction, I know, but the answer might be a lot closer than you think. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll dig into the problem they were trying to solve, this idea of one size fits none. Then, we'll check out their solution, the personalized prescription. After that, we'll see how they actually taught their digital assistant, put it to the test, and finally, we'll talk about what this all means for the future of smarter mental health care. Okay, so every great idea starts with a real-world problem. And in this case, the researchers decided to focus on a condition that affects millions of people all around the world: social phobia. Now, social phobia, which you might also know as social anxiety disorder, isn't just about being a little shy. It's this excessive, sometimes totally debilitating fear of being judged by other people. At its very core, it's this intense, overwhelming fear that people are going to think badly of you. Just try to imagine for a second how that fear could make totally normal, everyday situations feel, well, impossible. We're talking about things most of us don't even think twice about, like speaking up in a meeting, meeting someone new, or even just grabbing a bite to eat in a restaurant. For someone with social phobia, these can be sources of just intense anxiety. And this quote from the paper really gets to the heart of the problem. What the researchers found was that even though every single patient was different, their treatments were pretty much the same. It was a generalized one-size-fits-all protocol for everybody, no matter their unique triggers or personal history. And that is the one-size-fits-none challenge they wanted to fix. So, what was their big idea? Well, it was to use machine learning to create a completely new, totally personalized way to approach treatment. This chart really spells out the shift in thinking. On one side, you've got the old way, the traditional, uniform approach. And on the other, you have this new model that's personalized, tailored to the individual, and completely data-driven. Honestly, it's the difference between using a blunt instrument and a precision tool. Now, this is a really important point. The goal was never to replace psychiatrists. The AI was designed to be more like a smart assistant, a really powerful tool to help a human expert make a more informed decision, hopefully saving them time and cutting down on potential errors. So, how do you actually build an AI brain to do something this complicated? This is where the real magic happens, in the methodology. Their process had 5 pretty clear steps. First, you gotta collect the patient data. Then, you need an expert to annotate it, basically to label it. Next, you pick the right algorithm, you train your model with that expert data, and finally, you see if it actually worked. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with the data. The team gathered info from 60 patients, but they went way deeper than just basic symptoms. They collected 10 key parameters that really painted a full picture of each person's life, their specific triggers, their treatment history, and even what kinds of therapies they themselves preferred. Okay, this step is absolutely crucial. See, an AI doesn't just know what a good treatment plan is, it has to be taught. So an experienced psychiatrist went through all 60 patient files and, using their years of expertise, assigned the ideal treatment, or combo of treatments, for each one. This created the perfect answer key for the machine to learn from. All right, so the model is built. It's been trained on expert human knowledge. Now it's time for the moment of truth. Does it actually work? I mean, this is the million-dollar question for any machine learning project, isn't it? Could the model look at a brand new patient's data, one it's never seen before, and correctly predict the exact same treatment plan that the human expert would have chosen? The result? An overall accuracy of 98.33%. Wow, that is almost perfect. It means the AI was able to replicate the complex, nuanced decisions of an expert psychiatrist with just incredible precision. And this wasn't just a lucky guess. They actually tested multiple AI models, but the others, well, they just couldn't handle this kind of complex task. Only one specific algorithm, the one called the decision forest, was able to produce these amazing results. It turned out to be the absolute right tool for this very specific job. So, a 98% accuracy score is fantastic, no doubt. But what does a number like that actually mean for the future of mental health care? Let's zoom out and look at the big picture. Ultimately, this is not about replacing doctors. It's about creating a valuable tool that can offer them crucial guidance. Think of it as something that enhances a psychiatrist's ability to customize treatments, making their own expertise even more powerful and effective. So let's just boil this down to the key takeaways. We now have solid proof that AI can predict personalized therapy plans with stunning accuracy. That means we could have tools that make mental health care faster and more reliable. And that's way more than just a cool tech achievement. It's a huge step towards truly individualized care. Of course, good science always acknowledges its own limits. And the researchers here are very clear that this study was based on a pretty small sample of 60 patients from one specific place. So to make this a truly global tool, the next step is obvious. You got to test and validate it on much, much larger and more diverse groups of patients. And that kind of brings us to our final thought. This study is a powerful proof of concept. If an algorithm can help us choose the right therapy today, well, what's next? Could an AI help adapt therapy in real time based on how a patient is doing? Could it maybe even identify people who are at risk before they even show symptoms? The frontier of technology and mental health is really just beginning to open up.